Gentlemen, it's
Oh,
midweek. Oh,
yeah. Well, Friday Junior is at the time of this recording,
wait, hold on.
and Pi Day.
Friday,
Freaking Thursday, man.
Friday Eve.
Friday Junior is what I like to call it. Friday Eve. You can call it whatever you want.
Hmm.
It's America.
America. Hold on, America. Hang on, it's right there. Anyways, how are
Still
you?
have no idea what you're pointing at.
I can't help that Discord doesn't want to function properly. Homer no function, beer well without. Okay.
Sounds like user error.
Right, right.
It is.
Oh, anyway, everybody, welcome to another episode of the Alpha and Turn One podcast, where we talk racing.
Sure.
So I don't have any Formula One hot topics, but I do have some hot topics. So we're going to dive right into them. We'll talk about them throughout the show tonight. But Michael Andretti, first thing out, they go to St. Pete this past weekend. He has some media availability. Michael Andretti does, and the first thing he says, "Boom, Roger, sell the series. Just needs to
And
sell IndyCar. It's not going to invest any money into it."
and what has Joe been saying for the last 4 years?
Sell the
Roger,
series.
get fucked. Sell the series.
And the rumors are picking up for the Hendrick to Honda. Honda gained a lot of traction in the last several weeks with coming to NASCAR, and since they've announced that they're basically leaving IndyCar here in a couple of years. Andretti Global talks about a partnership with a NASCAR team. He finally picked up the talks on that as well with his media availability. Likely Spire Motorsports. Spire Motorsports and Andretti Global have the same sponsors on a lot of their race cars, so it only makes sense to us. Toyota dominated Phoenix this past week, winning the Xfinity, ARCA, and Cup races on the weekend at Phoenix Raceway. And NASCAR drivers and fans are screaming for more horsepower in the Cup car for the short track package. So that is our hot topics. Of course, we'll dive into those in a little more detail in just a moment. But let's hop into our question of the week, gentlemen. What are the first three things you would do if you bought the IndyCar series? Joe, we'll start with you.
Oh, you son of a. Hang on. Hold on. Hold on.
Oh, want me to start with Scott instead and come back to you?
No. I just gotta
All
pull
right,
up
okay.
the first three things. I would first three things. All right, I'm reading this per what I put up in our podcast chat. Right, it said up the marketing. That is the very first thing you gotta do. It is non-existent. Yes, you see bits and pieces here and there. Nothing, Roger. You suck at advertising. $1 billion company, zero marketing. Number two, allow multiple chassis, engines and tire manufacturers. You gotta have some sort of competition. When you have two engine manufacturers, one chassis, one tire, absolutely nothing. It's boring. All right, I've been watching old kart races all fucking week. Hold on. Yes, we are past the 3 minute mark. So all fucking week, all right, and that was the golden age of IndyCar racing. That is what you need to go back to, and then work on a TV deal. All right, don't have a charter system, but work on a TV deal that includes incentives for the teams to run seasonally. Yes, we have, was it 27 cars started at St. Petersburg, if I remember correctly, 26, 27? That is what you need weekly, all right? Cap it at 33, that's fine. That's the way the series has been for the Indianapolis 500. I'm okay with it. Last time we went to 34, Dan Weldon. Ooh. Ooh.
Yikes.
Poke the
Yikes.
bear. Anyways, those are my
That's
those are the three things that I would do to the IndyCar series right off the bat. Who's next?
Scott, we'll go with you. What do you got?
I'm gonna go with a more simplistic term. I leave the critical thinking to Joe and Gary. I'm just here to drive the car. So if I bought the series, get myself my own drive, practice with the car, and probably crash spectacularly in that order.
And die happily with a smile on your face in turn 4.
Exactly, because Lord knows they're not pulling my fat ass out of that car.
Get the crane!
Get the
Somebody
crane.
get the wrecker. The fat fuck's stuck.
Gary, what would you do?
So, Well, I mean, kind of similar along the same lines as you. I think they definitely need to do marketing. I mean, outside of the Indianapolis 500, what do you market? Oh wait,
The only
still
time I've
waiting.
seen IndyCar advertisements outside of Indianapolis, all right, was when we were up at Talladega last April for the NASCAR race, and we purposely went to Barber Motorsport Park to go see the museum over there and go see the track, and that was the only place that we saw advertising. The funny part was it was the week before the Barber race at or up there. So yeah, okay, great. You have local advertising. You're going to try to get people there, right? You have your regular fans. What was it? We had TV cap one something million. I think AJ is the one that sent us the numbers, but you had 1 million plus sitting there watching the race. You say you get 10% at a track on the weekend. Great, you're at 100,000. Come on, people. We gotta get out to the racetracks. We do it. All right. Rambler's traveling to Indianapolis. I'm more than likely going to Nashville for that race. Gary's going to the 500. We got to start packing the stands other than the 500. But
Right. No, I agree with that. Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. Fans got packed stands. I get it. I get it. Sometimes you don't want to go out and be peoply and go to the track and be around thousands of people or hundreds of thousands of people if you go to the Indianapolis 500. And you do at times get a better view from home. I mean, especially with IndyCar being a predominantly road series nowadays. I mean, you know, nobody wants to go and watch a car for 5 seconds, if that, and then wait 5 minutes when they're at the track. Like,
I do.
I mean,
I mean,
we've seen
But
it
I don't want to
with
deal with people.
we've seen it with our trip to Indianapolis for the Battle at the Bricks. It all depends on where you set yourself up on the track. You're going to have the slower corners are going to typically have a really good viewing point to look over.
right.
And if you end up in the right spot, you're going to see some damn good racing, no matter
Yeah,
where you go.
Well,
absolutely.
hold
Absolutely.
on, hold on. At Indy though, let's be honest. There's really only two passing zones. Turn one and the Holman Straight. That's it. Sorry.
The cool thing about
May
the Holman Strait, though, is we were able to find that gap in the fence that was just separated from the fan activity area.
Hmm.
And we were within a stone's throw of the racing line, and being that close to a major braking zone was really cool to watch,
Oh
especially
yeah.
during the practices for the TCRs and the GT4s.
Yeah, and I think there is like a third passing zone at the Indy Road Course. I mean, coming out of that right-hander, getting back onto the oval, short shoot, and then going back down in for another that other right-hander, that quick right-hander there. That's another decently heavy braking zone where you could make a move if you wanted to. Just most people don't. So, but
unless your name is Scott
um,
Ramler in iRacing, all
that's
hail
true.
the alien.
When in
That's
doubt,
true.
yeet.
That's right. But yeah, like I was saying, marketing would be the first thing I would do. We got to get some marketing in there. Probably make a couple staff changes within the marketing team, and maybe even fire Mark Miles.
Right there,
Wait, would
right
that be
there,
number
right,
two? Would that be
right
number
there,
two? I think
Gary.
that's number two for me. Fire Mark Miles. I mean, really, it could be number one. It's really 1A, but yeah, get rid
Hold,
of that
hold,
guy.
let's hold on. Remember
He's
what
worse
I
as a
said in the
politician when it comes to lying.
remember what I said in the chat though, Gary. Assume Mark Miles is fired when the league is sold, so that is not an option on the table.
Oh,
Pick
okay. Well,
something.
then
Pick something
that's fine.
else. That's a waste. That's a waste of a step. All right. One of the three
New
things that
new
you just.
chassis, I think would be in order for sure. You need a new chassis. Make it more as David Land has been pushing for the last few months. Make it more friendly for manufacturers by making it IMSA friendly, to where they could put the IMSA engine into the IndyCar, into that new chassis. I think you would be able to attract some more manufacturers that way. Cadillac wouldn't have to change their program. GM, Chevrolet, whatever you want to put, whatever branding you want to put on the car. Uh, Acura, Honda, same thing. They've got a hybrid engine. Boom, use that. Porsche. Lamborghini. I mean, list goes on as far as what the GTP cars are running as far as
Well,
manufacturer wise.
Can I jump in real quick, Gary? So
Yeah,
you got a point there, okay? So why doesn't IndyCar sit there and be like, okay, fine, we have GTP over here, right? There are it's a BMW and Porsche all run turbo V8s right now for their hybrid engines, all right? The hybrid gas engines. I forgot electric. Oh. Anyways, why not? If they want to be cost effective with it, why don't they work with other series? So you can sit there.
exactly the point there. And if you think about it, most of the IndyCar teams are in IMSA. Ganassi, Penske, Wayne Taylor, Andretti Global, uh, Ray Hall, Letterman, Lanigan. I mean, they're already
Uh,
there in that series. You just
I mean,
move one engine from one car to another.
even think about just the manufacturers coming in. Imagine if Ferrari said, "We are going to field 2 cars in the Indy 500." I guarantee you that would be the highest attended Indy 500 probably since the Centennial, if not surpassing the Centennial.
Mr. Historian here
Yeah.
cannot remember a time that Ferrari competed in the Indianapolis 500. So if anybody out there wants to sit there and comment in the chat without looking it up in Wikipedia, any UI racers out there, I'll sit there and throw a paint scheme together for you for the first person that comes up with the correct answer that if Ferrari has competed and what year and where they finished.
I,
Let's throw it down there too.
I feel like it was 60s. I mean, surely 50s or 60s, maybe.
You caught me off guard on this one, so I couldn't. I don't have time to research it, and I'm not going to. I'm going to let our fans. Let's see the people who pay attention.
Let's let the fans figure it out. Maybe 50s or 60s or something. I don't know.
I got
But again, that's what I would do. That'd be the second thing: is a new chassis, make it friendly for the IMSA engines, and then you could boom, that solves your manufacturer attraction problem. Because a lot of these, I can't believe I'm calling these corporate companies lazy, but a lot of them are when it comes to development for racing. You might as well just make it, throw it out there for them. Put it on a silver platter. That would be one of the things that I would do with that new chassis. And thirdly is it kind of goes with point number 2 though. Multiple chassis providers. Hell, let if you have engine makers in IMSA, let them make their own chassis. They get the engine, you let them make their own car, just like they do in Formula One. I don't see a problem with that.
Me too.
Let them make their own car. And then lastly, I think the third thing is more ovals. I know people are going to disagree with that, but I don't know about y'all, but I really don't like double headers at Iowa and Milwaukee just to say, oh, hey, it's an extra oval race on the schedule at the same racetrack.
Oh, you guys begged for ovals, and we're gonna go back to Milwaukee, and we're gonna give you 2 races for it. I don't want 2 races at Milwaukee. 250 miles Milwaukee. Go to like Richmond. Go back to Richmond. That place produced some good racing.
Yeah.
Out of the crap wagon.
And no offense to Iowa, because I love that racetrack over there at Iowa Speedway. It puts on some darn good racing. It really does. Probably some of the best racing in the country. I don't care if it's NASCAR, IndyCar, whatever the case might be. But Texas? I mean, put Texas back on the schedule. We've got Nashville Super Speedway, which I'm grateful for. Do not get me wrong. I'm happy that the series is ending at an oval track for the first time in a decade. Go back to Homestead. I mean, go somewhere. I mean,
I'm going to disagree with you on the Homestead thing. Sorry.
I know, but I mean, Chicagoland, Kentucky. I mean, list goes on. Kansas even let's get a shout out for Kansas going or Michigan something.
Hold on.
I mean,
Chicagoland Speedway, IndyCar, go back.
Kentucky, go back. I mean, Michigan, go back. Why'd you leave the first time? Take away that damn road race you got there in Detroit and just go to Michigan International Speedway.
No. Hold on. Go back to Belle Isle, okay? Don't get rid of that race completely. Just go back to Belle Isle because that place is fun. And if you've ever had a chance to go to that race, I have. Even though it is a pain in the ass to get on the island, all right, and to try to find parking to get there, it is still a very fun event to go to. So move
Okay,
Detroit,
I'll give you
back to
that.
Belle Isle. That's what I want.
Okay, I'll give you that. But they need to go to Michigan International Speedway. Period.
For
Cut
sure.
and dry.
For sure.
I mean, Richmond, sure. Like you said, we can go back to Richmond. Sure. They put on some solid racing back in the day. New Hampshire, Loudon, something. I mean, there's got to be something where we could do to put more ovals on in the series. And I just think we're a little lazy, and I get it. We don't like ISC. I get it. Or SMI. We don't like either of those companies, but we got to work with them. We have no choice.
Yeah, boo
That's just the
fucking who.
reality of racetracks these days. You got to work with NASCAR a little bit. I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, those would be some of the three things that I would do. More ovals, get a new chassis, and market the hell out of the sport because it's very neglected. That is absolutely true. Next we've got some IndyCar on the schedule from last week. I'm going to throw it to you, Joe. What was cooking for IndyCar last week? You could address some of the hot topics from the IndyCar stuff. Take it away.
So, not gonna lie, when we were watching qualifying and saw Joe New absolutely rip that pole speed off, I knew right then and there. Yeah, guess what, y'all? They are just fucking with you guys. You do not stand a chance against Roger Penske and his minions and Joseph Newgarden. Watch out, Scott Dixon, because your wins record is on the line because Joe New just got number 30. He is younger than Scott getting to win number 30. Think about that.
Yep.
Let that sink in.
And how many times has Newgarden won an IndyCar title? 2 or 3? I think he's a 2-time champion.
2? Not 100% sure. I can tell you that. I can tell you others.
I know Scott Dixon's 6, and AJ Foyt is 7, right?
7. Yeah, everybody knows that. But
yeah.
Out of the current drivers, Joseph Newgarden is the hot driver on the series right now. You can't deny the fact that the man is fast on an oval. Now they got their street game together. They're gonna be a force, unless they end up falling by the.
Goes back down to 2 cars.
No. So I don't want to. Let's not discuss the 5 car. He tried explaining.
I'm sorry. This is your portion. I'll let you talk. Sorry.
All right. So as long as Penske can hold his shit together, because the last few years it's either we are ass at on this set of tracks, and we're really good on this set of tracks, and we can't get anything consistent, so we end up losing the championship to guys that are whooping our ass every freaking week. All right. I really like Joseph Newgarden's thought process coming into this year. He deleted everything or stopped following everybody on social media. Doesn't give a rat's ass what's going on out there. He puts himself still out there. All right. But he's not engaging. All right. With the bullshit. All right. And it just showed this past weekend what you can do if you hunker down and concentrate. Let that be a lesson to all you young racers out there. So.
But I think that also helps that you're the Indy 500 winner, so you don't have to really push your brand out as much as he did, before he won the Indianapolis 500. I think that helps him just a tid.
Well, the pressure of performing well in the 500 is over. Okay, he's got the win. Great. Let's try to put something together and build a legacy. That is what he is doing right now. What is Joseph Newgarden's legacy going to be? And we're about to see a renaissance of that man. And I hate to say this, right? I fucking hate Roger Penske Racing, right? I just hate Penske Racing altogether. Just yeah. All right. I like the drivers. Sorry, drivers, you guys are awesome. Your owner, not so much. Joseph Newgarden, he's your new GOAT. He's the next generation GOAT. He's your generation GOAT. We had Scott Dixon, the generations before that, you had the Andrettis and the Unsers going at it with each other, right? And before that, you had AJ Foyt. We're seeing you're seeing the next AJ Foyt, Mario Andretti, Scott Dixon being built right now. 30 wins. Everybody thought Will Power was going to be the one. No, it is fucking Joe Newgarden.
And Will
that's where I'm
Power's
gonna
been a
leave
great
it.
race car driver in his own right, but
Yeah.
even when he was driving for crappy teams, talking about Newgarden here, when he was driving for Sarah Fisher and Ed Carpenter, like the way that he would carry that car, like you would think, oh, 10th place car. Okay, yeah, that's probably where he'll finish today. No, he would take it to a podium. Like the way that he's able to maximize his equipment when he was in bad equipment and in good equipment should really tell you something about his talent level.
Well, think about this too. All right. Who's your top 5? Yeah, Joseph Newgarden, Pato O'Ward, Scott McLaughlin, Will Power, Colton Herta. All right. Alex Palou following up right behind, and freaking Felix Rosenquist out of fucking left field. Holy shit. All right.
Yeah, he's been
Put
really
on
good.
a performance. All right. And then
Yeah.
the guy
Especially in
that,
qualifying, what he was able to do was
yeah,
impressive.
the guy that everybody, all right, has been saying, you better get your shit together because you're about to lose your ride at McLaren. Alexander Rossi, P8, all right? Really never talked about him, all right? That the cameras were stuck on Joseph Newgarden because that's what the fans want. Joe Newgarden, he's the new guy, or he's not really the new guy, but, fresh face, all right? P8, solid run for that man. I really hope he does a lot better this year. Dixon, get your shit together. P9, come on, man. It's St. Pete. We all know. Yeah, we just. There's that one track that is your nemesis, minus Coda. His is St. Pete.
Yeah.
And Ramblers is Sebring.
Yeah, I think if you really look at it, really, I think your next big 3 or legacy or whatever we're talking about here, right? Battles every week on the track. You got to look at Palou. You got to look at Newgarden. If you want to put him in there, I know people hesitate to put him in there because he drives for McLaren, but you got to put Pato in that conversation with those 3 guys.
And there's 2 more, and there's 2 more that you need to add into that group. The 5.
What you got? I was just going with 3, but if we want to expand it to 5, let's go for it. Let's hear it.
You have to expand it to 5 because you cannot leave out Colton Herta, and I'm going to tell you right now, with Felix not being on the hot seat at McLaren and actually having an owner that gives a shit about him instead of somebody that's sitting there concentrating on his Formula One efforts. Yeah, fuck you, Zach Brown. All right. Felix Rosenquist, Meyer Shank Racing, bank him. Top 5, end of season. Yeah. I'm not even going to lie on that.
With Elio there now in the fold, I know it's not full time. He's doing Indy still, of course, but with him kind of taking more of a leadership role within the team and minority owner, I think that does help. Having a voice of like old school, new school really can help get that IndyCar team off the ground because, I mean, excuse me, let's face it. Mr. Shank, he only knows sports car racing. And that's not to knock the guy, but that's just what he's familiar with. And having a guy like Elio say, hey, this is what we need to do to make our cars competitive. I did win 4 Indy 500s, 3 of them with Roger. Let's try doing it this way.
Mm-hmm.
And let's get some better people in here in these areas. And it really showed first race of the season.
Oh, yeah.
You got anything, Scott, to add to this?
I do not. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
I started looking up a stat because I was looking at the F1 news.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll get to that in here in just a moment. But
what
else did you have for us outside of St. Pete there, Joe? Talk to us. What do you got?
All right. So IndyCar decided to release their All-Star format, if you could call it that. You can't. I understand. All right. Everybody's going to have a chance to do something. Great. Whatever. All-Star race should be the guys that have won races and have poles and have finished good in the championships. All right. Some of these guys that have just started sprinkling into the series. Why? But anyways, they're gonna have a 12-minute two-group 12-minute session to determine where everybody starts in heat races. They're gonna have 2 heat races. Obviously 12 cars 12 cars for each heat race, and they are taking. Oh no, I take that back. There's supposed to be 27 cars starting. They're splitting the fields for the heat races, and then they're taking the top 6 from each of the heat races onto the $1 million challenge, which will be two 10-lap segments with a 10-minute break between. Was it lap 10? Yeah, lap 10. That's right. Okay. And then anytime there's a full course caution or whatever, they're not counting. They're not counting the yellow laps. It'll be entertaining. Let IndyCar try something. I'm not gonna knock it until we watch it. Let's just say that. All right.
Yeah, I think we got to give it a chance. That's for sure.
We got to give it a chance, and just again, this just comes down to the advertising shit and listening to the fans, but whatever. Ilot's supposed to stay in the seat for the test at Thermal, and then he's actually going to race at Thermal, and then that's about it for right now
Well,
for IndyCar.
or I like, yeah,
yeah,
because they have that month break until I think it's Long Beach next on the schedule, if I'm not mistaken. So
after Thermal, it would be Long Beach on the 21st of April, which is a humongous break, but
I mean, it's gonna if anything, it's gonna benefit Malukas because he'll be ready to go by then.
And you know what? I'm a huge Malukas fan. Chicago, let's go.
I'm anxious to see how he's gonna do with McLaren this year. I think he's gonna do a great job, way better than what he ever did at Coin, and he took that crap wagon to some really good finishes. Another guy that maybe he has a little bit of new garden in him now that he's on a new team and a step up from Coin. Yeah. So,
all right, we need to move on from IndyCar though.
We sure do. All right, Scott, you had the floor. You said you had some stats for us from the Formula One race this past week. I'm sure you're going to talk about that hotshot rookie that finished in the points with Ferrari, but let you have the floor here for this one.
Yes. Good old Oliver Behrman. Let's get to him here in a second, though. We'll go ahead and go through with the race recap. Starting off, we had a bit of drama with Lando Norris rolling out of the start box prior to the lights going out. He eventually did stop. He only rolled forward maybe about 3-4 feet, if even that. Ended up coming to a complete stop, ended up losing positions on the start. F1 officials decided he essentially penalized himself and decided no further action was needed. Later on down the line at lap 6, Lance Stroll took a massive hit going through turn 22 and into turn 23. He clipped the apex wall in turn 22 and went headlong into the wall at almost 130 miles an hour. It turned 23, ended up bringing out the only safety car of the race, which brought in a whole lot of strategy. As things went on, we started to see an incredible drive from the rookie Oliver Behrman, or not Behrman, Behrman. My apologies.
I like Beerman better. Let's go.
Yeah.
Can't even drink yet, y'all.
Beer. It's all fun.
Mr. Behrman, who is 18 years old, stepped in to cover for Carlos Sainz as he was having some appendix issues and needed to go to the hospital, get taken care of. I believe he was back in the garage to watch Oliver drive. For those of you wondering who this guy was, because I had never heard his name before, he is actually a multi-time champion in the Formula 4s. He has won the Italian Formula 4 Championship and the ADAC Formula 4 Championship, both in 2021. Each of those were the second time that he had driven in those championships for the full season. So he usually gets set up one season, finishes about 7th to 8th. I believe it shows here he did 10th in his first run with the F4s with the Italian series and 7th and is in the first asking of the ADAC Formula 4 championship before winning the championship the next year. He got pulled up with Ferrari and put on some incredible moves. I believe it was against Alex Albon or one of the Williams cars going into turn one, faking a move to the outside, cutting across just before the braking zone, and just blowing the doors off of whichever Williams he passed. It looked like something you would have expected out of Michael Schumacher or Fernando Alonso back in the days of the Ferrari and Renault rivalry. It was a beautiful, beautiful move, especially from somebody that young. Um, Moving on toward the end of the race, I mean, we don't call Formula One the Max Verstappen Parade Series brought to you by Red Bull for no reason. So Red Bull swept the podium again. Verstappen winning by 13 seconds over his teammate Sergio Perez. Your top 10 for that race is going to be Verstappen, Perez, Leclerc, Piastri, Alonso, Russell, and Mr. Behrman bringing it home 7th. This
Airman!
man this man has had so little seat time in F1, it is unreal. The records that I'm looking at show that he has only set foot in a Formula One car 3 times, is what I'm seeing, where they'll usually have the younger drivers come up during FP1 and some of the races during the year to get them a little bit of seat time while they're going through F2 or some of the feeder series. So for him to come up at a limited time window, get less than an hour of on-track time to then go out and score points in his maiden start is absolutely insane.
That sounds like some straight up Scott Ramler shit there.
It does. And hearing that stat, I was wondering how many other drivers have earned points in their first Formula One start, which going back the last 10 years, there have been 9 drivers. You have Ollie Behrman, Nick DeVries, Zhou Guanyu, Yuki Tsunoda, Stoffel Van Dorn, Carlos Sainz, Felipe Nasr, and Daniel Kvyat.
Hold on. Yuki
Wow.
scored points in his first race.
He did. In the 2021 Bahrain Grand Prix, he sat 9th position in his debut.
Way to go,
Wow.
Yuki. What the hell happened to you, bud?
Nice.
So there are a lot of other really big names on this list. Of course, Felipe Nasr from more of his sports car oriented driving, going with IMSA and WEC. You also have Lewis Hamilton, got 3rd position, was on the podium for his first race in 2007 in the Austrian Grand Prix. Sebastian Vettel, the same year, finished 8th in the United States Grand Prix. And I decided to scroll up a little bit, and I found probably one of the most interesting stats I've ever laid eyes on. Back in 1950, the entirety of the top 5 was nothing but rookies in a single race. Does anyone have any idea what race that was?
Monaco?
No. Gary, do you have a guess?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
There was a single race in the year of 1950 on the Formula One calendar that had the entirety of the top 5 finishers be rookies making their first start in the event or for Formula One. Do you have any idea what event that was?
Oh man, now I feel fucking stupid.
Again, I don't know much about Formula One or the history, so I'm just going to take a stab in the dark. Fuck it. The German Grand Prix. I don't know.
You are both going to hate yourselves when I say this.
Is it the Indianapolis 500?
It
No,
is the Indianapolis 500. Back in 1950, it was
That's
on the Formula
right.
One schedule. So
Hey,
you had
Right. There were a couple years where there were a few years where the FIA where that was a technically a Formula One World Championship race with USAC and all that. So yeah, okay, that makes sense.
hey Rambler, when you go back and watch this video, all right, tomorrow or not tomorrow, actually, it's gonna be uploaded tomorrow. When you go back and watch this video, when you have a chance, you're gonna see sit and spin.
I'm sorry, what?
He's flipping you off. He's giving you the double bird.
The double bird.
Just can't see him because the camera's not working.
Camera's
Okay.
working perfectly fine on my end. I can sit there and see my Chicagoland Speedway flag over here, the Gulf one over
Yeah.
here, the Chief on the back. So you got to do this, Gary. I'll teach you how to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just figured that was a funny little stat that I could throw at you guys.
I fucking
you know,
hate you.
A classic case of overthinking. That is for sure. That's what happened there. But
Are you foreshadowing the fact that Formula One's about to take over IndyCar and nobody seems to give a fuck? I mean, what?
Oh,
I mean, technically, it was already on the schedule, so they just have to sanction the race, and
They would just
bada
have to take
bing,
it
bada
back,
boom, the Indianapolis
you know?
500 is run with Formula One cars again.
At least it won't be ran by you suck. I mean, Sack.
Yeah.
So for anyone wondering what those top, who
You know,
those top
USAC.
five
Oh, sorry. Go
fi-
ahead.
sorry, for anyone wondering who those top 5 finishers were for that 500, you had Johnny Parsons with the win, Bill Holland
Mhm.
in second, Maury Rose in third, Cecil Green in fourth,
Yep.
and fifth is shared by 2 drivers because they did a driver swap in
They
the event.
did. Yep.
And fifth position is shared by Joey Chitwood and Tony Bettenhausen.
Yep. Yep.
God damn.
I think I did a book report on the Indianapolis 500 in 1950. I completely spaced that was a Formula One race, but I also wrote that paper like 10 years ago. So there you go.
I'm not gonna say old because I'm old. You're young.
Sometimes you just forget. I did want to throw in one random little thing. You know, you mentioned USAC or USAC, however you want to call them. So they did the most USAC thing ever last year for the Carbonite Classic.
Uh-oh.
The midget race that we were supposed to have, the Hoosier 100. Yeah, it ended up being a 50-lap race because the lights weren't working at IRP. They didn't think there'd be enough light on the track. So they just did their heat and called it the feature and didn't tell anybody in the stands.
I wonder who was there for that race.
I was there. And you know what? You suck is just being typical you suck right there. Just saying.
Why are they throwing the green flag? The yellow lights are still on. What the fuck did they think they're doing? Quotes, Ari Leindyke, 1997. ABC Sports. Look it up. It's great. It's still up on the interwebs.
Yep. Good times. Good times. Well, did you have anything else to stump us with tonight, Scott, or was that it for you?
I did not have anything else to stump you with tonight, but I just realized I didn't finish out the top 10. In P8, you had Lando Norris, P9, Lewis Hamilton, P10, Nico Hulkenberg. And we'll just stick with the top 10 because honestly, who cares if you don't get points?
Right.
We got Lego Norris right here.
That's right. That's right. All right. Well, if there's nothing else for the Formula One side, you're welcome to talk a little bit of NASCAR racing with us, but that is going to be the end of that. I've also got a couple different things in the works for next week, but we'll talk about that in the closing remarks. But like I mentioned, ARCA this past weekend at Phoenix, rain shortened race, nothing really spectacular. Aventurini car won. Hoorah! Go fight, lose. That's all you need to know.
Hey,
we won't.
Hey, don't we have a special guest from that particular race going to be here
We
soon?
we do. I did speak with Brayton Laster, and he was saying he's going to aim for next week. So Couldn't do it tonight, but that's okay because Scott had Formula One stuff to talk about. But he said he'd be more than happy to come on the show next week, so he'll be here with us. So that's
I'm
a,
about
a
to
new
fall out of my
surprise
chair.
guest.
I'm about to fall
So
out of my chair.
pizza man himself, don't fall out of your chair.
Okay.
Bad.
So the Xfinity race was last Saturday. Chandler Smith dominated the day, leading 88 out of 200 laps. Cole Custer started on the pole. What else did we have happen? Cole Custer started on the pole. And Chandler Smith won stage 1. Cole Custer won stage 2. Chandler Smith won the race. Allgaier was having a great run going. Honestly, late, I thought he had the faster car. I thought he was better than Chandler Smith, but he had a flat tire going into one with 5 laps to go. Kills the wall. That was the hardest hit that I've seen at Phoenix in a long time. Just basically, right when you get into the braking zone of turn 1, that's when his tire went flat, no warning, and bam, hard into the wall. He was so mad that he threw his deck lid. He was upset. Can't say I blame him. I would have been upset about that too.
I mean, I've thrown my headset for my power going out, so I mean, he just lost a race because of a fucking Goodyear. Yeah, I'm throwing something. Do you blame the guy?
No, I really don't. But honestly, like the Xfinity race was pretty quiet for the most part. Nothing really too dramatic happened throughout the day. That was really the biggest thing that happened. There were a couple of incidents later on in the race between teammates. I know Chandler Smith and John Hunter Nemechek got together on the back straightaway. That caused a big old wreck. But other than that, really, honestly, it was just a typical Phoenix race. Felt like for me, anyways. Top 10 finishers for that race. You had Chandler Smith, and then we love Jesse Love, finishing second there. Sheldon Creed third. Austin Hill fourth. Cole Custer fifth. Shane Van Gisbergen, again, another top 10 run for him. Gonna finish sixth. Brandon Jones seventh. Parker Kligerman eighth. Good run for those boys for the Big Machine Racing 48 car. Sammy Smith in ninth, and Anthony Alfredo Fast Pasta rounding out the top 10.
I know people on iRacing faster than Fast Pasta, but we're not gonna go there.
We're not going to talk about that. He's fast on the racetrack, and he's in NASCAR, and I'm not. So there you go.
That's sad.
Facts. It's there.
You're right.
So, Cup Series race. I mean, actually, first before I go into that, you guys have any thoughts about the Xfinity race on Saturday at Phoenix? Anybody got anything?
I'm okay. So I was really gonna hold off until we got through the Cup recap, but I'm gonna do it right now. Please stop using the fucking apron. Use the racetrack the way it was intended. I understand that, it's paved down here. We can use that. It's paved for safety and for the road course that they have.
I've got something for you.
But I'm not going to elaborate too much on that because
we'll talk more about that in a little bit. Yeah. We'll talk more about that in a little bit. But yeah, so that's I'll let you hold on to that thought. That's a good point. We'll come back to that. Cup Series race, pretty non-eventful. I mean, honestly, Phoenix is Phoenix. It's always gonna be a hard place to pass. But we'll kind of talk about the Phoenix rants here in a little bit. But Denny Hamlin won your pole. Tyler Reddick won stage 2. Christopher Bell won stage. Tyler Reddick won stage 1. Christopher Bell won stage 2 and the race. Lap 6, you had a spin with Derek Kraus, collects Austin Cindric and Austin Dillon, which caused Cindric to be done for the day. Kyle Busch spun himself in stage 3, so that was a thing late in that race. And then with about 106 laps to go, there was a big wreck involving Logano, Kraus, LaJoy. All were done for the race. Started out with a little racing deal between John Hunter and Joey Logano, where John Hunter just ran Joey Logano over going into turn number 1. That was great. So that was the thing that happened. 4 yellow flags in stage 3 alone. I mean, you could just tell the desperation there amongst the drivers in stage number 3. The other 2, there was only one other caution all race that was due to an incident, and that was with Derek Kraus. The other 2 were for the stages. Christopher Bell was your winner. Chris Buescher finished in second there in that Ford. Third place is going to be Ty Gibbs. Fourth place was Brad Keselowski. Fifth was Ryan Blaney. Sixth, Ross Chastain. Martin Truex in seventh. Michael McDowell at his home track will finish eighth. Chase Briscoe rather finishing in ninth, and Tyler Reddick rounding out the top 10. Really, the biggest thing that stuck out to me was the Fords were actually pretty solid. I mean, Toyota dominated the day. Make no mistake about it. Gibbs had the best cars on the track last week, but Chris Buescher stuck out to me as a guy to watch. Brad Keselowski, I think he's going to be very underrated this year. I think he's going to be a guy that'll win a race more than what people expect him to do. And honestly, since Front Row became a premier partner with Ford, that's going to be really intriguing to see how their progress goes throughout the year, to see if they can get both cars going a lot faster, not just the McDowell show every week. So that'll be interesting. And then Stuart Haas. I mean, first short track, they had half their fleet. Actually, 3 out of their 4 cars, counting Ryan Preece at one point, all in the top 10, top 15. So they've made some strides and improvements from the off season. I think for Josh Berry, it's just so much of a learning curve right now with him being a rookie and everything. I think he'll get there, but I really don't think we'll start to see their performance pick up until about the Coke 600. I think that's when they'll really start to take over. But
I really don't see Stuart Haas performing at all the entire season, but that's just me. You know, Tony's got his priorities other places. You know.
Well, and you know, they're in that contract year with Ford. This might be a lame duck year where maybe Tony's on the way out. But I mean, Noah Gragson, you can't deny it. Running really, really solid. Almost had a top 10 last week at Phoenix. So
almost is only good in horseshoes and hand grenades.
Well, I know, and Briscoe's been running decent too. I mean, he's got a couple top 10s on the season for himself as well. So
yeah, Chase is actually doing all right.
Well, we'll have to see. I think, if anything, if Tony does decide to pull out after this year, we've been talking about Dale Earnhardt Jr. wanting to get into the Cup Series for the last 12 years.
Redneck Jesus himself. Let's go, Dale. Do it for Daddy. I mean, what?
Do it. Oh, whoa,
whoa. Oh, the house is shaking. Wait, not the train.
Wait a minute.
That's right. So, but yeah, it's going to be interesting with them. Want to talk about Phoenix? Want to talk about the drivers ranting about the horsepower? I've heard some crew chiefs say, well, if we just increase the horsepower, we're just going to be going faster and everything's going to be the same. I really want to say I don't think that's going to be the case. So we've heard Doug Gates talk about it. We've heard TRD talk about it. We've had representatives from the Chevrolet camp talk about it, whether it's SiriusXM or otherwise. They have said we can run 750, 800 horsepower with these cars, no problem, because we've built engines already. It's the same engine combination to run 800 horsepower because we did it in 2021, and we could do it for every track.
Wasn't the Le Mans car? Didn't they open that up to 800 horsepower?
They opened it up to something. I don't know what it was.
I mean, shit, they were chasing down fucking LMP2 cars in the GT3 field like it was nothing. There's video of it everywhere that car was stupid fast.
Could have been 900 horsepower. Who knows? They really didn't have any parameters.
So, all right, I got to readjust my seating here.
I think they could easily increase the horsepower. I think if you open up the horsepower a little bit, give them an extra 100 or 200 if you wanted to. Give them 850 like you did back in the day. More off throttle time could lead to more mistakes, could lead to better passing. And the fans want to see better passing or better racing. And I haven't seen it. So
you know what? The drivers, the fans, and all the teams seem to agree. More horsepower. NASCAR, do yourselves a favor, all right? Just say, you know what? Fuck it. We're going to bring some teams out, go to a track that you guys don't necessarily compete on, all right? So nobody
gets Wilkesboro, do a test with more horsepower.
Yeah, no. They're doing an all-star racer, so you can't go to Wilkesboro. I don't want anybody getting an unfair advantage, so choose like
Kentucky,
Chicagoland. Go somewhere that you guys don't race. Give them all the horsepower that they want, right? Unrestrict those damn cars. Have some fun. Let those guys burn the tires off those cars and find out what they say after that. All right, because
Well, Harvick has been saying give them 1,500 horsepower and let them burn the tires off. Let burn the rear tires off.
I mean,
But-
you know what? There were times that I can go back through racing history where they would have to sit there and figure out how to glue tires to rims because they were spinning the rims inside the wheel themselves and actually cooking the freaking bead of the tire, and they couldn't keep the damn things together. What the fuck? Never mind. But give them the horsepower. Screw it. You know, give them what they want. Give the fans what they want. Start listening to the people and stop running things the way that you want it. Yes, I understand this. All right, but the fans are the ones that pay the paychecks.
Now, I will say this though, and this thought kind of came to me, and I've seen some things on Twitter and Facebook and those kind of things this week. Could it be that NASCAR is thinking about increasing the horsepower, but what we don't know behind closed doors is that they're working on something hybrid related? And what we could see here in the next couple of years is these next gen cars going hybrid, and they have like 850 horsepower, 900 horsepower.
Okay, so you still have a 500 horsepower engine with 300 coming off the electric motor. Who knows? It could be a different ratio. I don't know. I don't work for them. All right. I'm not an engineer. I wouldn't be an engineer because me and engineers don't get along. That's all of you all, just so you know. Except, well, hold on. We have an engineer on the team. I get along with him. Hi, Wyatt. But I'm okay with hybrids. All right. I don't want them to go full electric. Hybrids are okay. All right. I've said this before. I don't think I've said
We've
this on
talked about
camera.
this, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think
But
I've said this on camera yet. I'm gonna put it on. I'm gonna document it. Okay. I am personally okay with hybrids. All right. I worked on them when I worked at Toyota. I have been around them. I've driven them. Some of them are actually pretty fucking quick. All right. I'm okay with it. All right. We've been running hybrids for years. Look at a diesel electric engine. When did the first locomotives come out that were diesel with an electric motor on it? Yeah. Did you guys all know that? Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Diesel electric hybrids, right? AKA diesel locomotive. They've been around for years. Okay.
1940s to be exact years.
Mm-hmm. So get off your high horse. Keep combustion engines, all right? Because we still need the roar, all right, factor, okay?
Right.
But
take a page out of Cadillac's notebook if you want to do a hybrid. If you want the sound factor, that's just my.
Well, even the Porsche 963 that we're about to see next weekend, or not the next weekend, this coming weekend, and it's real 12-hour. We haven't gotten to that part yet. They sound angry. All right, they are mean. All right. Cadillac, very, very angry. All right. Porsche, real next, right there with it. All right. The Acura, okay, yeah, it sounds cool for a V6 with a turbo with absolutely ridiculous turbo lag in first gear. Ask us how we know. All right. And then BMW, meh. I really can't trash the BMW because we wanted a BMW at Daytona. 2 times.
And Sebring.
Oh, yeah, and Sebring. Hey, thanks, Dalton, and other people that were involved in that.
Landon.
Why?
That might
Landon.
be somebody else who we need to have on the show soon too. That's Landon.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. By the way, congratulations, Gary.
Yeah, congrats on the win tonight. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, congratulations to the crew chief, right? This guy right here.
Well,
right,
thank you.
Gary.
I
right here.
appreciate that.
All right, and Landon, good job. All right, I
He
only
held
say
it pretty
good
well.
job,
That's all he had to do.
and I do believe that you have an insane stat for Road to Pro spotting people, sir. Would you like to say that one? Because I'm going to toot your horn, because you always toot everybody else's.
I'm 3 for 3. That's all I'm going to say about that. 3 for 3 now.
If you're looking
2
for a
for 2
road
this season.
if you're looking for a Road to Pro crew chief, you can't have him because Landon already hired him.
Yeah, and he's basically told me the more we keep going this year, the longer we keep going. Like if we make top 70, I'm gonna be around. So already been documented, and it was on my stream earlier. There you go.
I'm not going there. Not going there.
Yeah.
Stay off the soundboards. Stay off the soundboards.
Shut up.
Hi, Zach.
Man. Sometimes, man, you gotta make it easy on yourself. Just don't say nothing.
Mhm.
You know.
Yeah. Anyways,
Well-
back to the horsepower thing real quick, though. Yes, give them the
Yeah.
horsepower. All right, every series should have more horsepower. More horsepower is make funner things. Ask Penske,
Yes.
even though we hate him. Fuck you.
I believe
So,
I
what-
believe there's an
Oh,
old
go ahead.
quote. I believe there's an old quote that says, "If you aren't laying a black stripe from the exit of one corner to the braking zone of another, your car doesn't have enough horsepower."
Did Ayrton Senna say that?
Actually, I think it was one of the Can-Am drivers, potentially Bruce McLaren, maybe.
I could believe that. I could believe that honestly.
Oh, ground
Like,
thumpers.
But let me let me look that up while you guys keep going.
While you look that up,
I
do you
did
wanna do
want to
is-
change the subject real quick about and talk about the Phoenix layout. I'm not a fan of it. I don't like how they reconfigured the racetrack, to be honest, with the dog leg and elevating it and adding banking to it. Personally, this is what Dale Jr. said on his show earlier this week. I'm gonna say it again. He said this 2 days ago. When they originally repaved the place in 2011 after the spring race, all you had to do was just tear up the asphalt and put new asphalt on. Why did you reconfigure?
because they always have to ruin good things.
That is true.
It's just.
But I agree with you. Just because it's paid doesn't mean that you race it. Just saying.
Don't
Just
get-
Being 7 wide going into turn 1 at Phoenix or turn 3, it looks cool, but stressful as hell if you're a driver.
Well, they were was it Joey Logano was talking after qualifying. He's like, yeah, I found something. Everybody else was using the apron. I found that if I stayed in this one spot, I gained it an advantage, through the corner. And all right, drivers. We've gotten to the mentality with drivers that they sit there and see what the other guys are doing, and they're just kind of try to see about improving on it instead of hunting. All right, hunting grip, hunting the fastest lap times, whatever. Okay, there's a reason why certain people will out qualify other people. There's a reason that other people can work traffic better than other people in in endurance multi-class racing. And then now let's throw in rain. All right, there's you've got to hunt. You got to hunt for that best lap time. You got to hunt for the grip. If you're not doing it, you're slow. I'm sorry. All right, just plain and simple. But I hate the fact that those guys are diving below the line. All right,
Yeah.
do you dive below the line at Daytona? You know what? How about this? Open up the
Put
yellow
grass
line. No, take the grass out in the tri-oval at Daytona, and let's see how many guys sit there and go rip through the infield at 200 miles an hour. If you're gonna do it at Phoenix, do it at Daytona.
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
They used to.
All right. You want to?
What little apron they had back then.
I mean, shit. I mean, let's look at Dale Earnhardt at what was it, Ontario, where he ripped right through the S's. He's like, "Hey, fuck you guys, right through the grass."
I thought
Right?
that was what's that
Riverside.
place?
Riverside. I'm sorry.
Riverside. Yeah, Riverside.
Well, isn't Riverside Ontario? I don't remember.
Ontario was the Indianapolis of the West.
Old tracks in a state that's falling into the ocean. Okay. Anyways,
Fair enough.
we do have Sebring 12 hour this weekend, Gary.
We do. You want to talk about that a little bit leading up to that?
Yeah, I do because I've been paying attention to some of the practices here, and thank you, boys. All right, there is a Porsche 963 that is topping the charts right now, and it is not your usual suspects of the Penske team. Way to go, JDC Miller, for showing up to Sebring. I know it's early. I know it's only practice 2 results, but thank you guys for showing up and showing out and actually doing your job and being a kick-ass team. So good job, guys. But you want to know what's even cooler this weekend? You ready for this
What's
one?
that?
Guess
Let's hear
what? We get to see the debut of the Lamborghini Iron Lynx
That's
team.
right.
All right, we get
Right.
to see the SC63 this weekend here in the United States, making its debut in IMSA. I cannot wait. I love the lime green paint scheme. I am a Lamborghini fan. All right, I am a huge Volkswagen Works fan. All right, Volkswagen, Audi, Porsche, Lamborghini, Bugatti, anything that encompasses it. All right, so yes, Lamborghini is an
You rolled
Audi.
up in a new Bugatti.
I'd rather have the Lamborghini.
That's fair.
It's just me, I don't want the Bugatti. It's expensive. At least Lamborghini shares parts with Audis. But I hope they succeed. I hope they do well. And they were they were P9 on the charts. Um, ahead of they were ahead of two other GTP teams, but I mean all the other teams already have a year's worth of experience. This is Lamborghini's first year doing GTP hybrid stuff. The car sounds amazing. I'm happy to see him here. Good luck this weekend, boys. Uh, on the LMP2 front, obviously Bill Riley and his powerhouse are up on top. Oh well, I mean the CrowdStrike guys are actually doing okay. They're all running in the 152 range for the LMP2 around Sebring, and for the conditions that they had in some of these practices. I'm kind of surprised that they were able to run that fast, but it is what it is. That track needs to get repaved in certain
Yeah.
spots. Don't take out the bumps
How
in the
about Sebring?
concrete though. Yeah. Um. Faster Sullivan Lexuses are topping the charts right now in GTD and GTD Pro. They're actually right on top of each other on the charts. They're running in the 2 minute range. The only other car that's in the 2 minute range right now is the Risi Competizione Ferrari, which is going to be awesome to watch. That's going to be a great battle, especially when you got GTD, AM, and pros in the kind of mixing it up at the front of the field. It's going to be real fun. And then shout out to where is it? Where are they? Crap. Why I lost them on the sheet. I am a dumbass. Go ahead, play Barkley. I don't care.
Nah. While you're looking that up, go ahead.
I was looking for the AO Racing guys, local Chicago team. They're 30th on the speed charts, 201s. I think they brought Rexy this weekend. I think Roxy's still overseas. So, if you guys don't know, Rexy, Roxy, they're the 911s. One's green, one's pink. The dinosaurs. My kid loves them. Yeah. Anyways, but that kind of just takes up. I could sit here and talk all day for all 54 cars in the field. I just wanted to have a couple of them that I hold dear to my heart. Talk about them. But it should be an interesting weekend. I have not looked at the forecast this weekend. I've kind of been busy all week. But Sebring likes to rain, and if it rains, it's going to be a shit show. I mean, it's going to be a fun show. But
yes, fun for the fans, not so much fun for the cars or the team or the crews.
And then next weekend, um,
We got our 12-hour race.
we have HSR's 12-hour race, which
It's gonna rain.
is gonna rain. And guess who's gonna be in a GT3 car? Rambler. Guess who's gonna be in an LMP2 car?
It's
This
raining
guy.
sideways.
Who's screw chiefing? That guy. Anyways, we're running 3 cars. We got GTP, LMP2, and GT3 that we're all running. Was it 963? Obviously the P217 and the Merc
Merc.
for
Yes,
GT3.
the Mercedes.
Yeah, and if anything in our practices right after iRacing dropped the new was it they called it the Tempest system, which is their rain model. I think we're gonna be okay. Between myself and Rambler, who how many wins did you get in the GTP
A
car?
lot.
I got, let's see, I entered 9 and won 7, I believe. It was either 7 or 6 out of the 9.
Yeah.
But I've also tried to do Suzuka in the GTP for the first 45-minute race of the season, and I didn't finish a single one. So this stuff is no joke in the GTP, guys. It's hard.
And
absolutely.
I'm not gonna give out my secrets with the LMP2 to the camera, but I'm just gonna say I figured some things out with the LMP2 car, and I feel really bad for the people if it starts to rain.
Absolutely. Any final thoughts, gentlemen? Before we close out.
I'll let Rambler go.
Got anything for us?
No, I'm just looking forward to our racing coming up here in Xtreme. We also start that up here in a few weeks as well.
March 26th and 27th for Xfinity and Cup. If you are interested in racing, go to xmsracing.com. Go to the Oval Series page, Xfinity and Cup. We still got openings. So if you're listening to this and you like league racing, good league to join. You'll get to see us on track.
We have what? We have 4 teams.
Even this guy.
Who?
In
This
Cup,
guy?
we do. We have a lot. We have a lot of teams in Cup.
We have 4 teams. We have HSR proper, right? Hutchsport Racing. We're bringing Krieg Sadler back to
Wells
to
Racing
race.
Esports.
Well Racing Esports.
5280 Simsport.
Yep, that's Brandon's team that I'm driving in. Yeah, I'm not even racing in my own fucking teams. I'm not even racing in Gary's team. I'm racing for Brandon.
What's wrong with that? I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
You're doing the Dale Earnhardt racing for
That's right.
RCR, running your own team.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, we all know what happened to Earnhardt. Death.
True. We do know what happened to Earnhardt. Well, guys, if there's nothing else, obviously we had a busy weekend of motorsports this past weekend. Gotta get ready for another one. Sebring for IMSA. NASCAR has the NASCAR Truck Series and Cup Series at Bristol. We've got a all-star race, if that's what you want to call it, for IndyCar.
That's
and of course,
that's
we've got
in 2
our
weeks.
own. Oh, that's in 2 weeks?
2 weeks.
Oh, well, whenever the hell that race is on, you got that all-star race. We've got our own Sebring 12-hour coming up next weekend. Stay tuned for that. To All-Star 15 TV, our hosts every week. Forgot to mention them at the beginning of the broadcast, but here we are. But or at the beginning of the podcast, rather.
His name is right there.
I mean, it's rolling, but we gotta give him a shout out every once in a while. AJ, we appreciate you for letting us do this. Anyways,
Fuck.
we also anyways, we also have the Xtreme Motorsports Oval Series coming up here in a couple weeks. Got Daytona qualifying and the dual races on both of those on iRacing. If there's something else, thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss anything from All-Star 15 TV, and you'll know every time that we go live. Stay classy, stay safe. Joe eats corn the long way, and we'll see you next week.
Fuck you, Gary. Hold on. Let me suck on this personal electronic nicotine inhalation system. Ready? Bye.